Hello, everyone. My name is Nivi, and I am a support analyst at Earthsoft. And today I will be presenting the EQuIS Enterprise Widget series part 3. This is the second last of the entire series, and it will focus on the new widgets, the new features in the map widget in Enterprise 6.0, which is our most recent version. Let's get started. Today's agenda will be, because this is an entry-level course, we'll look at the two map widgets, which is the basic web map widget and the traffic light map widget. And then we'll move on to explore the new features in these map widgets. And at the end, I will do a quick demonstration of the new features. So the web map widget, or as we call it, the map widget, it is useful for displaying locations. It pulls from VW location. You can display report outputs, facility layers, and other map layers such as feature layers or any other layers that you want to see. This widget also interacts with other widgets on your dashboard, such as the time series chart. This means that if you select a location on the map widget, you will be able to the time series chart widget zooms into that location, or rather adjusts itself to the location that you've chosen on the map. Also from the Easy View widget, you can add a report directly to the map widget, and the report persists until the widget is refreshed. The map widget is a standard widget on the Easy View standard dashboard, and you can add it to any other dashboard that you please. The second is the traffic light map widget, and it is generally used like the traffic light widget. It's generally used to get a summary of exceedances from a report. And it's normally used for analyte exceedances, but you can use it for any other data depending on your needs. There have been quite a few new features in the map widgets in Enterprise 6.0. There are many bug fixes as well. I would like to take a moment to thank all our Earthsoft Community Center forum users for your useful feedback. This helps us, and this helps our development team decide what features to include in the upcoming releases. So thank you very much for your input. Here I've listed just a few of the features that we'll be looking at today. We have redesigned the editor for the widget editor for the map widget in our new version. We have some new features such as clustering facility layers, some new symbologies and label types. We have legends available now in the traffic light widgets, both standard and map. One of the key features is generating histograms in the map widgets. And of course, we have some new types of info templates, such as custom info templates that you can use for a facility layer as well as your report layer, and plenty other bug fixes. You can see the bug fixes in our release notes, which I'll show you at the end of the presentation. Let's look at the first feature. This is the redesigned widget editor. So we have two new tabs in the new version. As you can see, on the left side was the 6.5.2 version, where you had 4 tabs, and now we have 2 new tabs, that is the layers and the histogram tab. So you can set up your report layers in more detail than you used to be able to do in the previous versions. Another new feature is the clustering facility layer feature. So here you can cluster your locations in the facility layer, and the label on top will show you how many features are contained within that circle. So this basically uses a distance setting as a diameter, and it's measured in pixels on your map widget. So you can leave it blank and it'll auto-populate it to 75, or you can fill it with any value, 60, 65, whatever suits your needs and how you want to view the data. The next feature is the new features and labels. We have introduced Halo in the location labels. This helps give users a contrast against the base map so that the labels stand out and are more readable and more presentable. The next feature we're looking at is histograms and legends. So histograms and the legends were available in the map widget earlier, but now we have also introduced it in the traffic light map widget, as you can see on the right side. Both the widgets have inbuilt histogram features in them. So the only caveat is one histogram is available per dashboard. So even if you have multiple histogram enabled widgets, at a time you will be able to display only one histogram. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. The next feature is symbology. So the symbology is usually pulled from DT location type core, and we have introduced some features such as the outlines for your symbols. As you can see in the image on the right, you can have dashes or dots or solid features, and this helps give better location symbols. And you can also use icons with a URL for your symbology, or you can use geometric shapes such as squares or circles or diamonds. The symbology options in 660 are different for report layers and facility layers. So you have the option of setting up symbology completely differently for these two layers. Another feature we have is the info templates. So we have info templates for the facility layer as well as the report layer. So as you can see on the image on the top, I have put in a little script there for locations, for information that I want to be able to see in my map widget. So earlier, if you clicked on a location in a map widget, it used to give you a list of information, maybe 20, 25 items of all the information contained for that location. Now you can customize it to see just the location that to see just the information that you are interested in. In the image above, I have set it up for my facility layer. And what I want to look at is the location, the geologist for that location, and the image of that location, which I'm pulling from DT location custom field 1. Right below it is the image of setting up something similar for a report layer, or you can do it for a feature layer. And you have 5 options for report layers for your info templates. That is the attribute listing, the location information, time series chart, and the new one that we have is the custom option. I'd like to do a little demonstration now. We'll understand the different tabs in the map widget, and then we'll go and set up some new features that I was just talking about, such as symbology, histograms, or custom info templates. So let's go to EQuIS Enterprise. So in the interest of time, I already have set up my dashboard with a map widget and a traffic light map widget. So I would like to first show you the traffic light map widget. In that, I've already used an action level exceedance report and set up my report parameters. And here is the histogram tab. And I've set it up for time interval as months and the time field as sample date. So, and I have selected the default extent as my report type. So if I click on save, and then I go and click on histogram. So now I have a histogram, and if I want to see what values are there for a particular date range, I can adjust the date range. And as you can see, this is interacting with my locations in the traffic light map widget. And I find this very useful to just get data in 1 click or 2 clicks, rather than having to look at my report all the time. The same can be done for the map widget, where I have already set up an action level exceedance report. And if I click on the histogram here, you can notice that the histogram from the traffic light map widget on my right disappears, and I can now see the data for my report layer according to the dates I want. So as you can see, it's interacting with the report layers. Let's dig into the widget editor for the map widget. So we have 6 tabs: the general, layers, labels, symbology, extents, and histogram. So in the general tab, now you have these 2 new features. First is the custom info template, where, as I explained, you can you can add a script of the relevant data that you want to see for your facility layer. And to your right, you have a whole list of fields that the custom info template can pull from. And these fields are in DT location, or you can also pull from DT file. So you have a whole list of fields here. And I'll quickly show you how this works. So if I click on save, and I'm going to disable my report layer. And if so if I click on my location B30, it gives me exactly the kind of data I'm looking for, which is the location name, the geologist, and the borehole log. So this is a PDF of the borehole log. So you can click on it and it will open in a new tab, or you can associate any other files that you want, an Excel sheet or a PDF or more images. You can also set this up for downloading the file as soon as you click it on the link. So we can send you information on that later when we send you the recording of this office hour. Let's look at the cluster facility option. So if I enable this option, my distance is right now set to 60, but if I leave it blank, it will populate it to 75. That's pixels by default. And if I click on save, so I can, as you can see, it's giving me the number of features contained within this circle. And if I were to zoom into here, you can see this number keeps changing depending on how much I zoom into. And this is how you can use the cluster facilities option. So we'll now look at setting up a layer in the new map widget. So I'm going to go to the widget editor properties and go to layers. And I want to remove my current layer. And I'll save that just to make sure I'm starting with a clean slate. Perfect. And now I will go and add a new layer. So I go to layers, click on the new layer button. For this demonstration, I want to use a user report layer. And I'm going to title it as Office Hours Navy. And I have a report that I have prepared for this layer. And I've marked it as one of my favorites for easy access. And in the info template, you can select whichever you want. I usually like location information. You can also set it up to be custom or a time series chart. Let's select time series chart and then click on next. In the Symbology, you have 3 options. I'll select the class break one. And I will go for a simple marker symbol. Just like in the Symbology tab, you can use any other symbol you like, a line or a picture or an icon. I find the simple marker symbol to be the easiest. So I'm going to select a diamond, with a size 12, and the color can be red, and the outline, which is a new feature, can be white, or yeah, let's do white. And the outline width can be 2, and I'm going to click on save, so it gives me a preview of my symbol. I can go back and edit it if I don't like any of the colors I've selected, or the size. In this case, I feel the size is a bit small, so I'm going to make it 16 and click on save, and that looks a bit better for me. In the classification scheme, you can select any of these 4 ones. I usually go for equal interval, and I click on generating it, and this is what I have. I can also select an attribute field if I want, but you can also leave it blank. You don't necessarily need to select it. And I'll just go and click on add layer. And if I save this, you can see my new report layer appear here. For a better view, I can disable my facility layer, so you only have the report layer. And that is how you add the report layer. And if you enable the facility layer, you can see the symbols for right underneath your report layer. Labels. This is the feature that where we have dedicated a new tab just for labels, so that you have the convenience of setting up labels in a way that contrasts your location, contrasts your base map. So if I go back to my base map, and as you can see, this is what I set up my labels at. You can set it for a different angle if you like. You can set it for a different outline or a different label color. But I usually find white labels with a darker reddish or pink background to be a pink outline to be something that stands out in most base maps. Next is the Symbology tab. I have already set up a Symbology for a symbol type for my soil boring locations. We can now set up something for my monitoring well locations. And it's important to note here that in this, the Symbology tab can be you can set up for anything you like. I prefer setting it for location type. And where this is pulling from is the DT location type. So it needs to be exactly how it is populated in your database. So I'm going to copy this out and create a new symbol and add the symbol code as monitoring well. Add the symbol type as a simple marker symbol. Or you can also add a picture marker symbol, which is how I set up this to be an icon. It is something similar to a PNG file or a JPEG file available. You can select it from anywhere. I just used this link and I just pasted it here and I got this symbol. We'll look at setting up a simple marker symbol. So I'm going to go with a square and a size 12. And I want my color to be yellow. Or let's make it blue. And this is the new section we have introduced for outline style. So your symbols stand out even more. I prefer the solid outline style and with a contrast outline color. And I can set it up for my width to be 2. Something to note here is that your outline width should be a whole number. It cannot be it cannot include a decimal in it. So you would want to avoid using something like 1.5. You might just want to use 1 or 2. And if I click on add symbol here, it gives me a preview of how my symbol would look. And if I click on save, I'm going to deactivate this layer. And as you can see, you have the new symbol that we created right here with the outline. Here we have the extent option, which was already there in the previous versions, but I'll just quickly explain what it is. You can set your extent to your facility or your report, and you can also use your XY coordinates here to set up a custom extent. I have set it to my facility for now. The last tab is the histogram tab, and it's very similar to the histogram tab that we saw in the traffic light map widget. Here we have set up the time interval for months and the time field for sample date, and I have enabled it for my action level exceedance report. And this is pretty much it, what we saw in the saw earlier. Another feature that another point that I would like to circle back to is the setting up the custom info templates in the map layer. So if you're wondering where I am pulling this information from, it is also in DT location, and here you have different custom fields. So you have custom field 1, 2, 3, 4. So here I have associated my custom field 1 with an image for the borehole, an image for my wells, for my monitoring wells. I have associated to my locations here. So I've associated B30 with this image, and I have associated it also with a log, a PDF of a log, and that is how you can populate this. If you want to populate it with DT file, you can do the same by associating it with fields in DT file. If you have already loaded the files to your database, if you want to associate it with a link out or image file outside your database, then you can do it in DT location. And there's one other feature that I like in the map widget, which is the select feature. And although it's not new, I'll quickly demonstrate it just so anyone who's new to the map widget can use this. So if you click on the select feature here and you select certain locations by drawing and completing a polygon with them, then you can see the results just for these locations that are contained within the polygon right here. And I find this very useful. Instead of having to look at my report every time, just clicking it here in the select feature is a faster way of viewing your data. I guess this brings us towards the end of my presentation. And if you would like more info, I have included links for the map widget and traffic light map widgets in my presentation. You also have upgrade instructions here. And let's take a quick look at the release notes. So these are the release notes for Enterprise 660. And if I just filter for the map widgets, you can get a quick overview of every feature or bug fix that has been included for the map widgets in this release. A quick reminder that this symbol, the plus symbol, means it's usually a feature. And this symbol would mean it's a bug. It's a bug fix. So yep, that. And our upcoming office hours are, the next one is on Thursday again on August 24th, and that is the last part of the Enterprise Widget series on time series charts widget and intermediate skills. It's an intermediate skill office hour, and after that we will be starting a new series on configuring Edge, which will run from August 31st to September 28th.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone, for attending today's office hour, and we're always welcoming your comments and input on the forum or write to us at office hours. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
There is one question. Deanna asks, is there a way to resize the map itself? I'm not sure if you mean just like the size of the space that the map takes up, because that's certainly something that can be achieved in the properties for the dashboard itself, or could be something, you just adjust the width of the columns. But looks like Nivi has maybe another idea as well.
Liz, I was just going to say the same thing, that you could use the advanced properties and you can set the widget height and width here. Or you could split your map, you could split your dashboard section into columns if you would like here, by adding a column here in case you want the size of your map widget changed. But if we did not understand your question correctly, then please let us know. So this is by splitting the sections, and you can also change it by advanced properties.
And if you want to resize it to the large, like to your full screen, there's that button. Yep, perfect. That Nivi's got her mouse over now. That'll actually bring it to full screen extent. So it's like the largest the map could possibly be. Excellent. Kelly would like to see where the advanced properties are again in that widget.
Sure. So if you click on the widget properties, and Be at Help Desk call this the hidden advanced properties button because it's not as obvious as the other buttons. So if you hover over to the bottom left of your widget editor, you can see an advanced hyperlink, which is a button here, and it's used to modify the properties of the widget. And if you click on this, it should show you an advanced properties window, and you could set your advanced properties here. Maybe if you want a widget height of 800, we could try setting that and save. And if I save this, there's just, you see the widget has become a little bit shorter. I think this was about 1000, but that's how you can adjust the widget height. The same way you can adjust the width too. I hope that helps.
It looks like that's perfect. Thank you. Kathleen would like to know if there's any documentation on the info template.
Let me check. Let me quickly check on the documentation.
And if Nivi can't locate it quickly, we can certainly send that along with the recording as well. I did put into the chat when she was discussing the info template for the facility layer. I put in the chat the particulars that she used in order to get the information out of the custom field one and all of that.
So we do have some information here in the documentation for the map widget. I'm not completely sure if this was updated recently or if it has been included in the install, but either way, we can definitely send you the information in the email and also the link to this documentation.
Thank you so much, Nivi, for presenting today. I really appreciate that you did
My
this.
pleasure, Liz. Thanks.
And thank you so much, everyone, for attending, and we hope to see you in the next office hour.